So I realized I haven't shot any videos in like about 2 weeks, and that's because I'm traveling and I had no equipment. I had no electronics equipment. I wasn't in the lab, so there was actually nothing to show. And only recently that yesterday I bought a tripod where I can put the phone and actually shoot a video. So I figured the best thing to do now, since I don't have any electronics equipment and I'm not fiddling with any circuits or any of that sort, I did visit the local library and I found these two books that I got very excited about, and they are Ugly's electrical wiring references. And these are a big deal for people who know what these are. This is the 2020 edition, and these are the Charles Miller ones, which are presumably the best. And we're gonna take a look at the difference between them. So let's take a look at the residential wiring. So what we would expect from the residential wiring book, and this is not a book that you study, because if you study it, there's something wrong. This is just like merely a reference guide, like a checklist for the application that you want to do right away. So if you're installing a junction box or an electrical switch or a plug and outlet, whatever the case may be, you can get your residential wiring book. You can go to the relevant page and just see the guidelines they provide and what applies to you. So for the residential wiring, this is by Jones and Bartlett Learning. So this is the table of contents. Let's zoom in on it a bit. The full page, okay. So we have like the ampacities of insulated conductors, how much current they are able to handle, and junction box sizing, box fill summary of contributing items. If you have the residential grounding diagram, a whole bunch of different applications and scenarios. Ground electrode selection, grounding electrode conductor. We have a lot of grounding stuff. Raceway insulation guidelines, supports for rigid metal circuit conduit, armored cable rules, water heater, circuit calculation, HVAC circuits, air conditioning wiring, air conditioner diagrams, lighting outlet switches, the different scenarios, track lighting rules, and whatnot. So let's take a look at something that, suppose I want to install a junction box, and I go, it has a ruler over here in inches. That's nice. Okay, so let's take a look. If I want to put in a junction box, let's see where junction box sizing. So this is going to be on page 26. Let's hop over to page 26. '25, 26. Okay, junction box size. And if you have the different conduit sizes, how the configuration should be, clear working space in front of electrical equipment. So it depends on how much voltage you have with respect to ground. So our case would be from 151 to 600 volts if we're talking about 220 volts. Minimum clear distance in feet. Okay, and they give you just a few tips. The minimum cover requirements. As you can see, it's something very technical, So it is very boring if you just want to explain it to someone. But this is a nice diagram. The residential wiring ground diagrams tells you if you have your distribution box with the bus bar, how you connect the ground to the metal post. So that's the idea. If you have the water heater, what you should be thinking of in terms of grounding. So there's a big safety aspect to it. Okay, enough of this one. Let's take a look at the electrical references and then we can compare them together. Okay, so it starts off differently right off the bat. Let's put them side by side. So this one is going to be the residential wiring over here. Need to zoom out. Okay. Zoom back in a little bit. Okay. Although you might not be able to see the writing clearly, I'm just going to tell you what the differences are. This one, which is the electrical references, it starts off with basics in general. This one immediately jumps to the point for the residential wiring. So it's like you can almost cross-reference a few things. Like over here you have find amperes, find the horsepower, find the watts, to find kilowatts, to find kilovolt amperes, to find capacitors and whatnot. Here it's completely different. We're talking about conductor prefixes, ampacity of cords, maximum number of conductors in electrical metallic tubing. We keep going. This is like the beginner's reference if you want to do some calculations. So we keep on going through this. It's just going to tell you the basics, which is going to be all about circuit theory, electrical circuit theory, parallel circuits, series circuits, combining circuits, how to do the calculation. This is obviously more universal from the name of it. And this is more of the technical stuff of how you connect the correct way and up to the standards to avoid fire or overloading a breaker. So yeah, that's it. This one is the Uglies electrical reference and one is the residential wiring. I'll try to find a link probably, see where you can find it, or you can just put in Uglies residential wiring or Uglies electrical references.